Yo, 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 what's going on with y'all?
What up?
I'm one of your hosts, Leo.
And I'm Izzy.
And we are the Chop Life Boys.
And this is the Chop Life Pod.
Exactly. So this is a new episode. Welcome. If you didn't listen to our first episode, go back and listen. Mm-hmm. We have 2 episodes out already.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be dropping every Monday. We're going to be dropping on Fridays or Mondays, but we made our mind up. We're going to be dropping every Monday, like I said. So stay tuned. We're going to have new episodes out for y'all every Monday. And we have a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They all will be linked in the description. So it's all the same app, but it will be in the description. So if you want to go watch the video version or listen to the audio version, it all will be in the description. So with that being said, we have a juicy episode for y'all.
Some good cooking.
But anyways, how was your week, man?
My week was amazing, man. How about you?
My week was good.
You know, happy Juneteenth to all my people out there. Juneteenth weekend, man. I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope y'all did something to, commemorate everything that's going on. And, I just hope everybody had a vibey weekend.
Oh, yeah. So, about this holiday, what do you think of it? Like, a lot of people are saying it should not be a holiday or it should be a holiday. Yeah. What are your opinions?
I've been seeing the dilemma when it comes to this. I've been seeing people talk about how, when it comes to our holiday, it's always now all these dilemmas and topics have been coming out. They're trying to discredit everything we built up to this point. Right. They're trying to discredit all the work we do when it comes to this.
It's like all of a sudden, it's like it should not be a holiday anymore. Y'all should be at work.
Or all of a sudden, our president is saying that we're celebrating too much holidays, and now we're even getting to the point where we're going to get too much holidays off. Because the whole dilemma was, people were saying how we should deserve Juneteenth off if we have Labor Day and all those other days off. But where that collides is our president is saying we already have 11 days out of 365 days.
It's just crazy.
We have 11 days. That's already too much, and it's costing billions of money. So I just think it is a bit weird that when it comes to Juneteenth, that's when all these weird topics start to pop up.
Out of nowhere, too.
Out of nowhere. But when it comes to every other American holiday, we don't have a question. Halloween is a holiday, by the way. Let's just let that sit for a minute. We have all these other holidays. That's never a problem. But Juneteenth, a holiday that actually has history behind it.
A lot of history too.
A lot of history behind it. Now all of a sudden we have this problem of should we get off? Should we not get off? Why is it even a holiday? Why are we questioning this? There's history behind this.
There's
Halloween is a holiday. What did that come from?
Exactly.
So I don't know. I think we're getting somewhere, but we're still far.
We're trying. That's all that matters. Anyways, this episode we're going to be talking about African parents providing, but not being there physically and emotionally for their kids.
Basically, provider or parent.
That too.
Are you a provider or a parent? And basically, we wanted to voice. So basically, you have your African parent. Your African parent worked hard. They paid for your school bills. They paid for food on your plates. Even sent money to the relatives back home. Everybody's eating. Everybody's benefiting.
Right.
But they were never there emotionally. No, I love you. No real talks. Just money and discipline. All the time is just money and discipline. Now we're older. We're a lot older, and you're struggling with mental health, relationships, even self-worth. Self-doubt is in there too. One day they ask, after everything I've sacrificed for you, why do you act like I was never there? What do you say? So I have 2 points for you today. Point A, you were a provider, but not a parent. Point B, you did your best, and now I've got to let it go.
Okay.
What you going with?
So let me ask you, right?
Yeah.
So in our African household with our parents, do you think you can voice opinion one without being smacked?
No, you can't. You can't voice no opinion. I mean, you could voice your opinion if you want to.
Right.
But
how risky opinion one sounds. Can you voice opinion one out without getting smacked?
Opinion A, when they ask you that question, you say you a provider but not a parent.
Right.
Now you're trying to get smart.
Exactly.
That sounds like some smart.
Sounds like some smart stuff.
It sounds like you're trying to get to the point, but you're trying to do it in a...
Right.
You're trying to test their gangster.
You are disrespecting me in my own household.
You're trying to test their gangster a little bit. But option B, You did your best, but I've let it go. That's
That sounds like my son. What have I done
did
to
your
you?
best, but and that's there's a little sass in there too.
Right.
So it's like the first one is smart mouth. This one's sass, smart mouth, and all the above.
Yeah, exactly.
You did your best, but I let it go. Let what go?
What are you talking about?
In what house?
I bet you in this country.
In what house? So I think that's a whole nother problem within itself.
Right.
You can't even voice your opinion, let alone speak on this type of topic with a lot of African parents. And I know a lot of people out there relate. A lot of people go through the same thing.
They do.
And we don't even realize it. Like I said, this stuff ruins your relationships. It brings self-doubt. You don't even know your self-worth sometimes. Our communication as people get ruined a lot through this type of parenting style. So I feel like this is a big dilemma, big thing to talk about, because all African kids, I feel like, go through it.
They all go.
I don't think I've met one yet that has not gone through.
That had the perfect parents. Perfect relationship.
They all go.
With
We
their
all
parents.
go through it. Maybe now the newer generation is experiencing a different side of them because they've grown soft. But we experience so much of these things with our parents that it's starting to become effective in our lives.
Right.
Like I said, communication. You start noticing that you kind of suck at communicating, even though you tell yourself like, "Oh, I'm good at communication."
And you can barely express yourself when it comes to even like your emotions out to like your partner or even a friend or whatever.
Yep.
It's like, what are they gonna think of me? Are they gonna just judge me and stuff like that?
Yep.
So you just stay back to yourself.
A, you were a provider but not a parent, and then we have B, you did your best but I've let it go. Which response are you going with?
Knowing my parents, I think I'll be able to get away with B with some explanations.
You did your best, but I let it go. I think B might be the best way to go about it. Because A,
the safest way.
you were a provider, but not a parent.
That's gonna get you a smash.
Especially them, they're gonna be like, "Well, isn't a parent
being a provider?"
Like, so yeah, that one.
It's too risky. It's too iffy.
You dug a hole. You dug a hole with that one. But B, you could easily play it into, depending on your tone.
Right.
Depending on your tone, you could get away with saying.
You can work around it, and you can
you did your best.
But there's some stuff that you could have improved on. But I let it go because you were just trying.
Tonality is very important. Tonality could be the difference between
getting smacked
and them letting it go. Exactly. So yeah, I feel like yeah, B, you guys did your best. You guys tried. We see where it came from, but let's just let all that go.
Let's let it go. It's in the past.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So next question I would like to ask is, do we owe our parents forgiveness just because they provided? Does forgiveness overweigh or overshadow the amount of parenting that they missed in between those times where they could have been more supportive, where they could have been more communicative, or where they could have interacted with us more and cared for us more? Do we forgive them, or do we owe forgiveness to them towards that? Do you think they did it on purpose, or do you think it was just the way they were brought up too?
I don't think they did it on purpose. I think it's the way they were brought up. And if you look at it, they had tough love back then. Tough love. Back in the 90s, it was straight tough love. You get beat on for being bad, and it was no love. So it's just like us with everything, whatever or whichever way you were brought up is how you're gonna act. So it's up to you whenever you become an adult to unlearn some stuff and basically learn the proper way to move on, or even deal with those traumas, because a lot of our parents don't talk about it, but they all have traumas that were not dealt with because they didn't even know how to even get around it or even get past it.
Oh yeah, they do.
And a lot of our parents even started having kids young, so they just had to get up and go get it, make sure that the kids are doing well. And a lot of our parents even tried to give us a household that they didn't have. They just didn't know how to do it properly. So we do owe it to them, but it's a matter of whenever we do, are you able to cooperate and learn to move on? Yeah. And learn to basically start from zero with your kid and build a better relationship
with them. No, yeah, I 100% agree with that. Sometimes I feel like with them, they don't realize that they're caught in the reality that they were taught in the past before.
Right.
So to them, that's how they were brought up. The method worked. They were raised hard, and to them it paid off because they finally made it to the States. They're finally providing for their family, which to them was probably the main goal of their parenthood.
And to them, it's like whenever I'm doing that, I'm already a parent, and I'm already doing great. But it's certain stuff that are changing nowadays that our parents need to get with the new norm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Emotionally,
update.
physically, letting your kid know that you love them. Hug your kids, and basically just be there for your kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm breaking that cycle. I'm doing all of that for my kids. My kids are gonna hear from me that I love them in every situation possible.
Of course.
I'm gonna hug my kids, whether they like it or not. I'm gonna hug you because I didn't receive that growing up, so I'm trying to break that cycle.
You have to break the cycle.
With that being said, do you think that some parents knows that that's the issue, but still refuse to change, or do they just don't know how to change?
I think there's a good chunk of people, parent-wise, that do. I think they internally they secretly know that they're being just like their predecessors before.
Right.
They know they're being just like their grandma. They're being just like the parent before them. But I think a lot of them are stubborn.
And hypocrites.
They're stubborn and they're hypocritical. And accountability is also another thing. They lack accountability. They never say sorry.
Right.
You ever had your African
parents and they just
accountability?
Go this way.
100 African parents versus accountability. Has your African parents ever made you mad, or you get a little whipping here and there? They never come say sorry. They walk into your room and they walk into your room and say, I cooked some fufu downstairs.
Right. Do you want to come?
Do you want to bite?
I cooked your favorite food. Do you want to? Or I'm going to the market. Do you want me to grab your favorite food?
Now you care about grabbing something from me. It's never just, hey man, that was my bad earlier.
I messed up. That's my bad.
I shouldn't have said that. Let's start from scratch. They never take accountability for any of that. It's always just, they and as kids we never, pressed them about it either. It was just always on to the next day, on to the next slate. So we just move on from it, and that's it. Never gets addressed. Nobody takes accountability for nothing. So I feel like a lot of parents, it is stubbornness, and it is their ability to just not admit that I'm just as bad as my grandma was. I'm just as bad as my parents.
And how can I better myself?
They don't ask that either. I feel like in the environment we're in, the country we're in, you get caught up so much in being in go mode too, that sometimes they don't ever take the time to just stop.
That's the last on their mind.
Yep.
Is you think about how is my kid doing emotionally and stuff like that. For them, as long as we are able to provide for the people back home and the people here, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And that's all that's low key going on through their heads. Is their main goal is providing. That's it. That's how they were brought up is, especially men wise, you have to be the provider. You have to go out and you got to get it. You got to go out and be the one to do it. So I feel like dad wise, especially, dads always lack more emotions towards their child than mothers do. I feel like every African mom, you can joke around with them. You could set the phone up, make a TikTok. You could always play around with your mom a little bit and you could get the reaction you want to get. But when it comes to your dad, it's usually just
it's a different.
It's just like a hisser,
different dynamic. You know what I mean?
Different dynamic.
So, let me ask you this question. So, were you showing a lot of emotions growing up?
I don't think so. I think I'm a very good emotions reader. I could read the room. I'm not emotionally unintelligent, but the things we were talking about, like just little things, like you hug your kids, the I love yous, the little things that matter. I feel like I didn't receive that as a kid.
Right.
Do you?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
So, do you think that affects us with the way we grow up and how we act? And how do you think we can fix that, even us, before we try to help our parents to, get in a better habit of doing that?
It definitely does. It definitely does affect relationship-wise. It'll affect your communication.
That's one.
You and your spouse or the person you're with will get into an argument. Like I said earlier, we're used to there's nobody taking accountability in front of our faces. And a lot of things, we just rub it in the dirt and just move on past it. So you'll get in an argument. You'll think, okay, I'll just sleep on it. I'm over it. That's what we were trained to do. Meanwhile, your partner has been trained to talk about things. We suck at communicating. We don't know how to express.
It's so bad.
We don't know how to express our feelings. Or sometimes your spouse will be demanding something from you, and you don't know how to express it. You don't know how to, like, the only answer you have is I don't know.
It's I don't know.
I don't know.
Or some people just go with just fighting, right?
Yep.
You know, it's like, let's just fight, let's scream at each other, and let's just
And
get
that's
over
it.
it. But there is no way you guys are gonna fix it without having a proper talk and figuring out, okay, what's the issue? How can we fix it? And how can we move on and be better from there?
Yep.
That
Nobody teaches that.
And you wanna know what the biggest thing too is us growing up is the affection that our parents show our moms.
Yep.
It rolls back up
on the kids.
On the kid.
Have you ever seen your parents be like affectionate towards each other for real?
Not really.
We don't see it.
No.
We don't see, you wake up in the morning and dad's, dancing around the kitchen, him and mom are vibing. You don't see that. I don't want to say movie type of,
type of feels.
That type of feel. You don't see love in the house like that.
You really don't.
And you see this dynamic where it's more like Batman and Robin. Not, husband and wife type of vibes.
Mom is on her P's and Q's,
exactly.
And dad is doing that.
Exactly. You don't see a love type of dynamic.
Yeah, and it seems like they're roommates.
That's what it is. It seems like the perfect roommate scenario. One person understands the role, the other person understands the role. And at the end of the day, they restart, refresh, same thing for 365 days. You don't see that. So definitely, even in relationships I've been trying to pursue, it's been that I feel like intervenes with it.
Right.
You don't have the proper communication, or you don't have the relationship knowledge, or you have the knowledge, but you don't necessarily you didn't have an example. You didn't have that love. You didn't have that template. Right. So now you're in a relationship and little things feel awkward to you or feel cringy, but your partner might need that because they came from that and you don't know how to provide it.
Exactly. And it trickles down to a lot of stuff because even our parents growing up, they didn't really see their parents help out with chores, help out with the kids, help out with, help their wives out. It was just mom was supposed to be 100% everything in the house. Dad's supposed to be the breadwinner and just comes home, sits down and plays the king, and then the mom does the maid work, you know what I mean, to where.
And then that's it.
And that's it. But that's not how it's supposed to work in a couple as like parents. It's like you guys are supposed to be hand in hand, making sure that the house is running at 100%. Sometimes, mom might need 80% from you. Sometimes you might need 80% from mom. But if mom is pulling 100% every other day,
then it's not gonna
work out. You know what I mean?
It's not gonna work.
And it turns into like, oh, mom is like really, really sad or really, really depressed, or like mom is on go mode and dad is on like, go mode, but he's like 50% because dad is there, but dad is not really. He's not really
it's too
there.
much. It's too much.
Just too much going on.
Too much
to where
going
it's
on.
clashing. It's like it's not the proper environment to be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our parents, older or not, help out your partner. Go to the kitchen, do some stuff. Help out with the kids. It's
teamwork.
it's so simple, but teamwork helps out a lot when it comes to all of that. Because even us growing up, we never really seen our parents.
We don't see the dynamic.
You never see your dad pick up the broom. It's always mom that picks up the broom, or the kid that picks up the broom. And imagine you becoming a grown up into your own relationship with somebody, and you never pick up the broom. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And back to what we were saying, that's their dynamic that they were raised with.
Right.
Back home, mom stayed home, dad went out and was the breadwinner. By the time he comes back home, food is already cooked.
He's expecting everything to be exactly.
He just takes a shower, goes to sleep, wakes up, does it again. So I think they try to bring that same dynamic here, and it can only work for so long because here mom is working too. Mom is working just as hard as you, even probably harder than you sometimes. So for her to be expected to cook, clean, kids, and then, you feel me, it's just too much. It's too much, and a little bit goes a long way. So another question I wanted to ask you is, as future parents, you're already a parent,
right,
but, as future parents, how do we break the cycle? And how have you and your wife, how have y'all broken the cycle?
Well, it's just communication. Having a good, not having communication skill, but it's just like
Yeah.
trying. The biggest thing is trying and coming across a good compromise. It's like, hey, talk to your partner. It's like, hey, whenever there's an issue,
Yeah.
I will sit on it, or I like to talk about it later. Where your other partner could be like, well, whenever there's an issue, I like to talk about it now, so we can move on from it right away without holding any grudges toward each other. You know what I mean? To where it's always compromise. It's like, hey, okay, I understand. Even though I'm mad and I don't want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Let's get it over with. Maybe it will make me feel better. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, oh, I know you were struggling with the kids or whatever it is. Let me help out a little bit. Let me do this and do that while you sit down a little bit. It's like there is always stuff that you could do to help your partner out, to where it's not just dragging them down while you just sit there and do nothing about it.
No, yeah, I completely 100% understand that. Especially, you're already deep in it, so stuff like that for you is probably crucial because you guys are deep in it. 3 kids, you guys have to constantly be on the same page.
Exactly.
You guys constantly have to talk about things like that, and you guys are doing all this young, so
Very young. So.
very young. So like aspirations come up with both of y'all. Things get in the way for both of y'all. Y'all constantly got to be going at the same time rate, or else everything falls apart. So, new age parents like us, we got to definitely break the cycle. We got to show our kids that support. We got to show our kids that love, so that when they grow up, they don't struggle with the communication. They don't struggle with dealing with this burden of not knowing how to be efficient when it comes to those type of languages, those physical affections that we miss in our daily lives, like a hug. Has your dad ever even hugged you, or just like like nothing, bro?
Not really.
There's no chemistry. If it was gun to the back of my dad's head right now, and they said, "Tell us 10 things that your son likes." Tell us 10 things. Tell us 10 things about your son. Gun to the back of your head.
It's over.
Tell us 10 things about your son. From favorite color.
It's over.
What's his favorite game? What's his favorite sport? What's his favorite sports team? What does he even do in a day?
It's over.
Most African parents don't know what their kids do in a day.
They really don't, because
they don't.
Like I said, they're missing out because they're working second shift.
Yeah, they don't know. Like, as a parent, I don't want to ever grow, and I don't know what my son has done in a whole day. I haven't walked into my son's room, dapped him up. Yo, what you doing? You feel me? You on the game? Man, sit down real quick. Let me teach you something. You feel, like, those little dynamics, those little things, it builds chemistry. Our parents and us, we don't have no type of chemistry.
Right. Now let me ask you a question. Have your parents even had to talk with you about, like, hey, you are becoming a boy and a teenager. This is how you're supposed to move in life. It's so crazy. A lot of our parents do not give us the talk.
They don't prepare us for
nothing at all.
I think we see the preparation through what they had to go through, but that's the only preparation we get, is already seeing through our lens what our parents had to maneuver through to get us to where we need to get. But we never actually get sat down and it's like, okay, this is what you got to do to get here.
Exactly. Let me talk to you. You know, it's like, hey, son, this is what happens when this does not happen properly. This is what you do when this is happening. I'm always open. Come talk to me. I'm not gonna judge or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Come talk to me. Let's figure it out.
No,
because
real.
A lot of people do go through stuff alone because they're just scared to even talk to their
parents.
Because, like I said, it gets used against them, or the parents use that as fuel to, oh, I'm gonna send you back home. Oh, look at that other person. And then that's just ammo for them to basically compare you to other kids.
Comparison.
Around your age.
They teach you it almost feels like they teach you all the bad habits. And
At a young age.
Like comparison. They teach you comparison a lot. Because as soon as you do one bad thing, but, And
exactly. And that turns into self-doubt.
Self-doubt.
That's what we're talking about. It's like, well, now, like, am I doing it right? Am I doing enough?
Yeah.
No, am I doing it better than the other person I'm being compared to? It's like, where do I go from there? I'm not even confident. It's like your confident level goes lower and lower and
All the
lower
way low,
as you
man.
get compared to other people
All
daily.
the way low.
It's like look at the other person's kid. Well, they're doing so good.
They're doing so
They're
good.
going
They
to
have
college.
a diploma.
They have a It's
and they don't know what's going on in their house to even be saying this.
Exactly.
But they constantly compare you to other people. I feel like that is the worst. That's probably the worst one they could put on you, because you are then in self-doubt. Sometimes you feel like your purpose. You're like, what is my purpose? Should I just do should I just do what they're saying that kid's doing because he's doing good? So should I just join the train and go do what he's doing? So maybe then it's almost like your whole life you're just running for that approval. You're chasing that approval. You're chasing for them to just finally be like, okay, we see you. Good job. Like, you're kind of chasing for approval your whole entire life. And that's where all that comparison and all that negative stuff comes from.
And one thing I've noticed too, or even just like pay attention to, it's our parents, even though they don't tell us stuff like that, behind closed doors with their friends, it's like, oh, my son is doing this and that and this and that, and he's doing so good and I'm proud of him. Say it to your kids. If you are proud of your kids, say it to them.
Say it. Because they are probably praising you behind closed doors, but in front of your face, your parents, no matter what you do, it's like a little bit of hater in there, and you don't even know if there's any type of realism when it comes to like, do my parents even like me or something?
Right.
Like, what haircut you get, they got something to say about it. Whatever you're doing, they always have something to nitpick about it.
Why are your clothes so tight?
Everything,
why are you wearing that type of color?
Every single thing, man.
Oh, why are your shoes so big?
No. I'm telling you, they find every little thing to critique about and never just, hey, I see what you got going on, man. You look like a young me. You feel me? Like, you look good today. Like, it's just little things like that I feel like go a long way. But our next segment here, we're starting a new segment here, Chop Life Dilemma of the Week. Every week we're gonna have segments here where we like to challenge you viewers, So please be interactive. Comment in the comment section if you guys can. But every single week we'll have a dilemma to pull out for you guys, and you guys basically comment and view your opinion on what crazy stories, what crazy opinions you guys have.
Right.
Make it a little bit more interactive for you guys.
And if you have anything for us to even sit on here, just DM us. We'll have everything down the bio like I was telling you guys.
Yeah. Boom. Let me find this real quick. Or is it over here?
It was on the other one.
Let me see. Boom, 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 boom.
It's on that page.
Or is it Loki, the one that I started out with?
No. Click on the page. So, go. You go to the second one, that one, and then go down, and then you have either the first one about your friend's wedding or.
I could just pick any one.
Yeah, just pick any of them.
Okay, let me pick. I want to pick the wife and the mom.
Let's do it.
Because that one's controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Get people going. Let's see. Boom. Back to our dilemma. The dilemma of the day is basically your mom says your wife is disrespecting her.
Okay.
Your wife says, I'm not disrespecting her. She's lying, clearly. Who do you defend first? The woman who raised you or the one you sleep next to? This is the two most important women in your life right here.
This is hard. This is a hard thing to break down.
It's a tough one.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to sleep on the couch, or do you want your mom to be talking bad about you?
See? See, that I might have to just... I'm gonna have to beef with moms for a little bit.
Good.
And I only say that because this goes back to that one question, that famous question that was going around where they were like, if your mom or your wife was hanging off a cliff or something like that, who would you save?
Exactly.
And a lot of people say, of course I can't let my mom drop. Now that's my mom. But in like your case right now,
I gotta save my wife.
you got a family started. Your mom, no offense, mom, but you've already
lived your life.
You've lived your life, man. You lived your life, and now this is something I have to deal with every single day. You know, I'm not dealing with my mom every single day no more. Not to say she's had hers, but she's had hers. You know,
she definitely did.
She's had hers, and now when it comes to conflict like this, your mom's saying your wife's disrespecting you. She's saying I didn't disrespect her. She's tripping. Unfortunately, I have to side with my wife, and because if my wife is a liar, then what am I in this for?
Nah, devil's advocate. What if your mother was right? And your wife was going crazy on her.
Oh my goodness. But then it's also like, why would my mom lie? See?
Right on. But then some moms hate their daughter-in-law.
Some moms do be on that.
And they're trying to get rid of,
especially African moms.
Yeah.
African moms hate the in-laws.
Okay,
sometimes.
let's play this one out. You get married.
Yeah.
You get married to a white lady.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Mom hates her guts. So then they get into a bad argument.
Yeah.
You were at work. You get home. Before you get home, you get a WhatsApp message from mom. She breaks everything down, what happens and who was in the wrong and everything. You get home and your wife talks to you about it. How do you go about it? Like, how do you break that down? How do you go about it? Because you already know there's some hate.
There's some hate there already.
Mom already
has some hate there built up. Knowing that mom already has some hate built up towards her end, I'd have to do some investigating, some slight investigating to see what stories add up with what. See maybe if the time frames. Let's see what the time frames.
But let me ask you, for the time being, are you sleeping on the couch or are you sleeping next to your wife? Because you got to calm your wife down. You got to talk to your wife to be able to be like,
you always got to make it back to the bed by the end of the night, though. Some days you won't make it back to the bed.
Exactly.
There's those days you won't make it back, but I'll try my best to make it back to the bed, at least for the time being, and then maybe we could all have a sit down or something. But like I said, I have to side with my wife, only because this is the person I've created a covenant with to stay with for the rest of my life. So it's like, if you're lying to me, then
and then now comes the gaslighting from your parents. Your momsy goes, well, guess what? Your wife will leave you one day, and I'll still be there for you. And guess what? I give birth to you, so you came out of me. So,
oh yeah, the gaslighting will definitely come around the corner.
It comes around the corner.
The gaslighting will come where she's gonna be like, oh, you're picking her over me?
Me, your mother.
I'm the one who nourished you. You look as big as you do now because of me. You're as handsome as you are now because of me.
I sacrificed everything for you.
Boom. And you're choosing this random person's
over me.
So, I'm sorry, moms. We're going to have to beef. We're going to have to beef for a little bit. We're going to have to beef.
It's a no-brainer, but at the same time, it's like moms know how to gaslight their kids into doing some crazy stuff.
And especially son-wise, we're always usually, no matter if people say they're not mama's boys, I feel like everybody has a little bit of mama's boy tendency in them, man. Yeah. So, coming from that, it's like, my mom. I love my Dukes, man, but this is my future, man. My Dukes be tripping sometimes. My Dukes be tripping, and I just need to pick wifey's side with this one. I gotta go with wifey.
Exactly.
Gotta go with wifey, man. But let us know what y'all think, man. Let us know who you guys siding with. Your mom and your wife are beefing. One of them says, "Hey, I've been disrespected." The other one's saying, "What the disrespected? I ain't disrespect nobody." And the story's being brought to you. Who are you? What side are you taking? What side are you taking? Your mom's?
Let us know.
Or your wife's? Let us know down in the comments below. Tag us in your opinion. I want to see what y'all think. Are you siding with my Dukes or wifey? Let us know. Boom.
But this is a good episode.
It is.
This is a great episode. So I'm happy how this is coming out. This dilemma of the week that we are having is going to be weekly now. It's going to be in every episode, and we're going to be having different ones, crazy ones, funny ones. It's going to be all over the place. So if you are interested, send yours in.
Send it.
We'll definitely add it to it. No names.
No names, nothing.
Don't incriminate yourself.
Even we're gonna start doing calls. We're gonna start doing calls during a certain time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. All anonymous, of course. All anonymous is all for entertainment at the end of the day. So we won't get too serious on that side. It's for all laughs and giggles. Send it in. Our DMs are open. Just we're going to have one of these every single week. We're going to be aiming to give you guys something spicy, something to think about. So it wouldn't hurt to put your own opinion, put your own spin in there. DMs are open, man.
Yep. And just like that, we are coming to the end of the episode.
Yep.
This was a great episode, and we are glad that we made it to the end because this is our second time shooting this. This is our second time shooting the same episode right here.
This is our second time
because the first one we had some,
some complications,
some technical issues. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, make sure you drop a follow, and leave a rating because on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you can actually leave a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Your boys deserve a 5-star.
And we're grinding, man. We're grinding
so
right now. It's
stars,
currently 1 a.m. right now. We're almost 2 a.m. We're at it, man.
But 5-star would be great, and we appreciate y'all. We appreciate you guys for sitting down and watching this whole podcast with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Peace.